Hello and welcome to this special episode on stage lighting. Now, stage lighting is a very important tool in the hands of a stage director, and it is a very important tool of narration and form and composition. So, before we actually try to understand what exactly stage lighting is, we first should know the basic genesis of stage lighting. So, if we talk about the early type of stage lighting design is probably as old as formalized theatre. The early Greeks built their theatres as open air spaces and orientated them in relation to the sun, so as to use natural light for stage lighting. They would present their plays at different times of the day to take advantage of the different types of natural lighting. This type of planning was in essence early lighting design. The theatre of Dionysus, Athens about 330 BC, and the theatre at Epidaurus, finished about 340 BC, are example of these early public theatre facilities. Now, lighting for theatre developed over the centuries using both natural resources then artificial sources. The sun, candles, torches, oil, gas, electric arc and lime lighting all have a place in early stage lighting. During the Renaissance period in Italy, many of the principles of modern lighting design were firmly established. Now, modern stage lighting design began to flourish with the development of incandescent lamp in the late 1800s. This invention allowed for the development of small, safe, portable lighting fixture that could be easily placed anywhere around the stage and then controlled by a remote electrical dimmer system. Previously, during the gas lighting era, complex stage lighting did indeed exist, but it was limited by this awkward, smelly technology with its many inherent problems. During the gas lighting era, a great number of theatres were destroyed by a fire. During the early 1900s, as stage lighting continued to develop, certain parallel lighting industries began to evolve, borrowing many basic principles from the field of stage lighting design. The modern fields of display, photographic, film and television lighting design all have evolved and developed from the fundamental roots of early stage lighting design. Today, stage lighting design is recognized as a field merging science with art. Now, the future stage lighting. Now, the future of stage lighting is tremendously exciting. After the electric filament lamp, stage lighting was revolutionized in the 1930s by the development of ellipsoidal reflector fixture. The development of SCR dimmer in the 1960s provided another radical change. Now, the automated lighting fixture, which were first introduced in 1970s, is revolutionizing the lighting industry again. New technology has recently produced colors never before seen in lighting design. New light sources are developing, including xenon, metal halide, fluorescent, induction and sulfur lamps. The use of fiber optics as carrier of both light and data and the further development of liquid crystal projection technology are all part of the exciting future of entertainment lighting design. Design software for computer will continue to evolve and eventually allow the designer complete artistic interactive control over his visual technology. Lighting softwares now provides assistance with design, drawings and paperwork. Design softwares in future will use both touch screen and speech recognition technology. Can mental control of lighting system be far away? Well, this is just a speculation. Now, let us talk about objectives of stage lighting. Stage lighting may be defined as the use of light to create a sense of visibility, naturalism, composition and mood. So began a chapter in 1933, text A Syllabus of Stage Lighting by Stanley McCandless. Most comprehensive lighting texts since also tend to discuss the artistic objectives, that is the functions of lighting. Now let us talk about the visibility. Visibility is often considered to be the most basic and fundamental function of stage lighting. What we do not see, we seldom clearly understand. Visibility is dependent on far more than just the intensity of light. Other factors such as contrast, size, color and movement all can influence visibility. Distance, age and the condition of the eye also play important roles in visibility. Good visibility is essentially selective. Its purpose is to reveal things selectively in terms of degree of acuity. I quote McCandless in 1933. Now let us talk about naturalism and motivation. Naturalism provides a sense of time and space. Stage setting may be highly realistic or completely abstract, absurd or stylized. If the time of the day is important or the place is realistic, then motivation is often provided by sunlight, moonlight, firelight, lamplight or other naturalistic stage sources. It is important that this time we are talking about mimicking of natural sources and then actually trying to compensate them with lighting fixtures. Now the style concepts include naturalistic, unnaturalistic, realistic, surrealistic, pointillistic, futuristic, minimalistic, impressionistic, expressionistic, expansionistic, abstract, modern, religious, romantic, Victorian, primitive, Gothic, Elizabethan, Georgian and many more. Now let us talk about composition. Composition refers to the overall pictorial aspect of the stage as influenced by the lighting. Composition also deals with the form of an object. A stage scene may be broadly flooded with a soft, even lighting revealing every object equally, or it may be illuminated by highly localized lighting on the actors only, or anything in between. So composition in lighting must reveal actors, objects and scenery in proportion to their importance by building a visual picture. Now composition concepts include balanced, unbalanced, symmetrical, asymmetrical, simple, complex, abstract, geometric, fragmented, symbolic, dynamic, linear, random, crude, horizontal, vertical, diagonal and many other things. And if you talk about mood, mood considers the basic psychological reactions of the audience. If other lighting elements have been properly applied, the result is a specific mood created by lighting design. Lighting can cause an audience to feel a wide range of different emotions, feeling of happy, sad, content, horrified, excited and often bored if it is not properly done. All depends on a wide range of psychological and physiological factors. This is also true in respect to how audience interprets naturalistic or atmospheric moods such as sunny, cloudy, rainy, lighting, etc. The staged lighting designer rapidly learns that things are not what they are, things are what they appear to be. Let us talk about qualities of light. Any study of lighting design must include a thorough understanding of both the physics and the psychological properties of light. Knowledge of the behavior and the properties of light can help explain vision and human perception. The lighting designer is especially interested in how the properties of light affect the eye-brain process and cause feelings and emotions. An understanding of the physical properties of light can help explain optics, lenses, color theory, lighting and projection equipment and much more. The laws and the applications of reflection, refraction and absorption are encountered and used every day by the stage lighting designer, and these concepts must be thoroughly understood both in theory and in practice. Now, the basic qualities of light are intensity, form, color, direction and movement. These are the lighting designer's tool. Almost all visual images can be described, discussed and analyzed in these terms, both physically and psychologically. Now, let us talk about intensity and brightness. Intensity typically refers to the strength of a light source. Intensity of a source exists independent of its distance. Intensity is measured in candela, that is, the old term was candle power. Illumination refers to the amount of light falling on a surface. The old term for illuminance was illumination. Illuminance is measured by a light meter, corrected for the curve of human eye, in foot candles or lux. Typical stage lighting illuminance levels may range from 25 to 200 foot candles or more. The eye has an incredible power of accommodation and can comfortably adjust to illuminance levels in nature from 1 to 10,000 foot candles or more. Now, brightness refers to the visual sensation caused by a light source when it interacts with an object and then the eye. Brightness depends on intensity of the source and on the distance to the object and on the reflective properties of the object. Example, in theatre, when we change the dimmer setting of a lighting fixture, we are changing the output intensity of the source. This results in a change of illuminance, that is, the light falling on the stage, that is perceived by the eye as a change in brightness. Visibility depends on many factors, not just the intensity of a source or the brightness of object. Color, contrast, distance, movement and the conditions of the eye and the visual system all play an important role towards visibility. The stage lighting designer is more concerned with the brightness of an object than the intensity of its light source. He soon learns that objects of higher brightness generally draw attention on the stage. Light attracts. Conversely, darkness conceals, but may also put the audience to sleep. Next, we talk about form and distribution. Light provides objects with a sense of form. The eye is able to recognize objects in terms of shape, size and position. Our binocular vision assists with this process by providing depth. By means of controlling the distribution of light and creating patterns and compositions of light and shade, it is possible to produce sensations on the retina that will be interpreted as forms in space. This is something which I have quoted from a syllabus of stage lighting written by McCandless in 1964. Form as applied to light is rather complex. It is everything that intensity, color, movement and direction are not. Yet form is caused and influenced by these other qualities of light. Form has to do with the distribution of light or how light strikes a surface and reveals an object. We typically discuss form in terms of clarity and recognition of shapes. Form and distribution can be discussed on two levels. First, we can discuss form as applied to the stage setting in respect to how objects appear. A stage might be evenly, softly and flatly illuminated from a low front angle. Alternately, the same stage might be unevenly dappled with tight circular pools from high overhead angle. As in nature, stage light sources may produce either soft, diffused shadowless light or hard shadow producing light or anything in between. The edge of a lighting beam may also range from a soft, almost invisible edge to a hard, sharply defined edge. A beam of light may also have a broken, uneven distribution, as in the case of a gobo or template pattern projection. Now, we talk about the lighting color. All of the light is colored. White light is simply a mixture of all visible wavelengths of color. The humana is most sensitive to the light in the yellow-green portion of the visual spectrum, that is about 550 nanometers. Then it is to red or blue at the ends of the spectrum. Color is usually discussed in terms of hue, value and chroma. Hue is the classification of a color that the eye sees as red, green, amber, etc. Value indicates the lightness or darkness of the color, and chroma indicates the purity or saturation of the color. Now, these three are very interrelated properties, but they are very much different. You need to study them closely. The primary colors of light are red, green and blue. These three colors can mix together to produce any other color including white. The secondary color of light are formed when any two primary colors are combined. The three secondary colors are magenta, that is red and blue, yellow, that is red and green, and cyan, that is blue and green. When white light is passed through a color filter, only the wavelengths corresponding to the color are transmitted. All other wavelengths are absorbed. This is referred to as subtractive filtering. When two or more colored beams of light combine to illuminate a surface, they mix together and we call it the additive mixing. Stage lighting fixtures produce colored light using high temperature plastic filters, and there are more than 100 different colors available from several manufacturers. These filters pass or transmit their own color and block or absorb all other colors. Sometimes glass filters are also used. Conventional glass filters generally come in a limited range of colors. However, they are useful for high temperature application or where prolonged life of the filter is required. A new generation of dichroic glass filters are also sometimes used for entertainment lighting application where vibrant colors are needed that will not fade over time. Dichroic filters are made with thin film technology tuned to specific wavelengths. These filters transmit a specific color and reflect all others, unlike conventional filters that absorb, not reflect unwanted wavelength. Now, this is important. So, dichroic filters are somewhat different from the conventional filters in this respect. Now, we talk about direction and movement. The direction of light is one of the most important attributes in stage lighting design. All light has direction. A bare candle radiates light in all directions. A spotlight radiates light in a very specific direction. In nature, most light comes from the sky from above. In theatre lighting, this is also generally true as most lighting positions are above the stage or audience. Low front lighting is often considered to be very flat. Very high lighting angles may cause shadows on actors' faces. Lighting from more than one direction can add plasticity and dimension to a character. Lighting from the balcony rail can fill in shadows on actors' face. However, this position can also cause shadows on upstage backdrops or scenery. Very low lighting angles have always been associated with rather unnatural lighting and are usually used for effects lighting only. Footlights, once common in many theatres, are seldom used today. Clearly, the lighting designer must choose the direction of light very carefully. Now, this is just an introductory passage on the direction of light. Otherwise, stage lighting direction is a very specialized and in-depth item, and this is only used to prepare you for the coming things which are very much complex, but of course, if you master them, then I would say the job of a lighting designer is not less than that of a celebrated painters. So, in theatre like in nature, the floor reflects some light from below, usually filling in shadows. The color and reflective qualities of a stage floor are very important, and for this reason should always be selected with assistance from the lighting designer. Now let us talk about movement. Movement in light is generally taken to mean any change in intensity, color, form or direction. Dynamic changes in all of these qualities take place in nature on a regular basis. Movement may also include the physical movement of a source such as a searchlight, police beacon, color vehicle, color wheel, special optical effect, moving projections, mirror ball, etc. Up until recently, movement was probably the least utilized quality of light by the stage lighting designer. This all changed in 1980s when the automated lighting fixture was born. The modern automated fixture can now move physically, directing its beam from one part of stage to other. In addition, the automated fixture can move from one color or effect wheel to other at any speed. The changes and combination of intensity, form, distribution, color and movement are endless. So, we have learned a great deal about stage lighting and we have covered a lot of topics, and I assure you that each and every topic deserves a very detailed insight and very detailed study to understand its property. If you talk about color, it deserves a very deep insight, a very deep study. If you talk about movement, if you talk about automated lighting fixture, if you talk about form and composition, these are very in-depth topics which requires very deep study. And as if you want to become a lighting designer, if you aspire to become a lighting designer, if you want to understand lighting, then you should gear up and you should prepare yourself for studying each and every aspect in detail and master those aspects. I hope this lecture and this interaction was of some use to all of you. Thank you so much for watching.